Hello and welcome back. So today I'm going to follow on a little bit from Ian's video with print to cut at the weekend. So let's dive on in, and this time I'm going to be looking at how we can crop images within CanvasWorkspace. So this time, rather than tracing, we're going to be importing, and we're going to be working on some set shapes. So this is going to start a little bit different. We're going to start by kind of creating the basis for our project. So I could do like some bag toppers. I could be doing labeling. I could be doing packaging nets and all this sort of thing. But I want to break it down for you so it's nice and simple. Okay, so let's go to the shapes, and we're going to go for a thin rectangle. I'm just going to tap that to add it to my mat. And now let's resize it to what I need. So I need it longer and thinner, shall we say. So I'm thinking the sort of thing that we can attach to the top of a party bag. So now when we bring in a shape, it's going to align itself to the top left corner of our active area. So we know if we move up or to the left of this point that whatever's there won't be printed, but also we need to actually put our registration marks in. So before we go too far, I'm going to go to my artboard. I'm going to select the size of the printer paper that I want to use. So in this case, I'm going to go A4. I could go letter, but I'm going to go A4. And straight away, we're going to see that it's not quite going to fit. So you do have options here. You could basically work on the principle of laminating the shape onto something else to actually cut it out. In which case then you can get away with actually extending past that active area edge. You do also have the option of doing something like a gradient so that you can get around it that way. But in this case, I'm just going to, because it's hypothetical, I'm just going to resize it down. I'm going to drag it down a little bit and turn the registration marks on. So long as we fit within this red outline here, then we can actually make sure that everything is going to be able to cut out. Now, if you do have images that extend over those registration marks, you are going to fail when it comes to the print and cut. So let's pop in a colour. And to do that, we're going to go up to our fill. We're going to tap on it. Now, I'm working on a Mac, so my default colour palette has these wonderful crayons. If you're working on a PC, you won't have that, but you can still use swatches. So if I change the view, you can see that we've got different mixers. So we have the wheel, and yes, I know at the moment this is all black. Don't worry about that. We'll sort that out. We've got sliders. We've got swatches. Now, swatches is really useful if, for instance, you use Affinity, because Affinity, you can set system palettes. So you can see that I currently have some Icons 2023 selected, which is one of the palettes I created in Affinity 2, probably, if not Affinity 1. And because it's a system palette rather than an application or document palette, it comes through to CanvasWorkspace, which is really good because if you've created a logo in Affinity for use in multiple applications, you can take those same colours into CanvasWorkspace and they'll print more or less exactly the same. So let's pick a colour because I quite like this palette, and I'm going to go for a kind of real pale custard yellow. Okay, now at the moment our outline is also set as well, and it's set to black. What I would advise you doing at this point is, rather than doing a black outline, you can either change it to the same colour as you fill, or you can make that outline stroke invisible. Now, I would recommend going same colour so that when you go to transfer, it's going to transfer correctly. Now, finally, here's another tip for you while we're looking at outlines and things. If we go to our stroke width and we pop that up, we're actually going to automatically add on a natural bleed for our shape. So if I just bring that in just a touch, because I want to make sure that everything stays within that red area. Okay. And I can zoom in. So on a Mac, that is Command and Plus to do it on the keyboard. On PC, it's probably Control and Plus, but if not, then you can use the zoom tool as well. So the little magnifying glass at the top, or the percentage next to that to set it using your keyboard. Just makes life a little easier. So now you can see that the outline is applied around the outside of my shape. So I've got a nice bleed area, which will prevent any kind of white lines when we come to cutting out. So far, so good. So as I said, with this one, we're not going to be tracing. We are going to be just importing through File. And then we're going to go down to Import from your computer. Then we're going to go and let's do this with the mouse. It's a little bit easier. I'm going to go to my Seagate. Don't know why it's come up with Creative Cloud as an icon, but okay, we'll just ignore it. I'm going to go to Dropbox and downloads and files by others. It looks like I'm almost organised in this folder, but it's really not. So let's find something that's got some flowers or something. There we go. We've got some dogs. Let's see what we've got in terms of got Pomeranian, Cocker Spaniel, because Cocker Spaniels are cute. There we go. So I'm going to go and open that. Now, if you get this, it's because basically you have a file limit. So let's go, okay, let's pick something else, which is a shame. Now, if you desperately want to use that image, what you would do is take that into your photo editor, resize it down. So using the resolution rather than cropping. And then you should be able to get that. Let's see if there's something in here that we can at least make fit. That one was so close, but not quite. Oh, I think I might have to come back and do that one as a separate video just to show you how to resize this image, because, we nearly got a Rotty. Let's see how much this one is. Yeah, that's a bit more like it. So, looking at my colour scheme, I want something that's a bit more. Let's try that one. So I'm going to go open. And we've got this fantastic image come in. Now at the moment, that would print, but when we cut out, it's going to cut out the box and we've got an awful lot of wasted image. So let's show you a couple of tricks. Firstly, let's resize this so we get it how we want it. And I'm going to put that over to this side. Now, if I press and hold Alt or Option and click and drag, I can bring in a copy of that. I can go to Edit and I can flip it. So I don't need to do this in a photo editor. I can flip it within CanvasWorkspace and drop that over here. Now, if I go to my Layers panel and then press and hold Shift click on the original image, let go of Shift, so we now have both selected. We can then go to Edit and we can align them. So bottom or top, take your pick. Both going to end up nice and level. So there we go. We have our two shapes that we know are level and they look pretty much central, but we can group them so that we actually check. So go group. And then we're going to go back to layers again. With our group selected, we're also going to select that bottom layer so that everything is selected. We're going to go to edit again and we can choose to centralize it if you wish. Now, this is acting a bit odd at the moment, but that's probably more so down to my computer. Let's try again, shall we? It is not wanting to select that group and that image. Thank you. Like I said, it's just my computer being a bit weird. So, there we go. We have our images, but we need to crop the rest of that print. So then we can fill the sheet with other copies of that same image. Now, as we're starting at the top and working our way down, what we actually want to do is kind of build in a bit of space between that is going to be white. So I'm going to take another rectangle. I'm going to take it up to our bleed of our shape. So not the outline of the shape itself, up to that actual bleed area that we added using the stroke. So I will try and differentiate between the stroke, which is the effect that we apply, and the outline, which is where our path actually goes for our shapes, because they're in two different places at the moment because of that extra stroke that we applied. So now that we've got the rectangle there, we've got white in that same swatch, so we can fill it with white, and we're going to do the same for our fill. Okay. And I'm going to size that down. Now, at the moment, this is set to cut. And because I don't want it to cut, it's easier to either set it to draw, or I have the pierce function. So I can set it to pierce because I know there's no way that I'm going to be using that mat. But let's go draw. I'm not going to be foiling it, so I don't need to worry too much. Now, what you do want to check is when you click off it, just check the corners. If there's anything a bit weird going on, so like I think there's a little bit of a dink in that corner. I'm just going to zoom in. Let's go and zoom. See that? You've got that little bit just there. So again, this goes to that outline. I want to make sure that outline actually doesn't impede. So let's take that off altogether. Just going to move that slightly. Now, do excuse my screen going a bit mental. It's because my computer is doing weird stuff at the moment. And I'm just going to get that there. We were on about 80 before, so let's show you. We can key in 80. Just going to zoom back up. There we go. I'm just going to move my colour palette out of the way, and then, if need be, I can extend this box. There we go. So now we have a crop at the bottom of the image, and you can do the same at the top if you want to. So let's take that one, press and hold Alt, drag it up. There we go. If we press and hold spacebar, we can navigate around. I'm going to shrink that down so it's within our red line area again. Okay. Press and hold space, click and drag, release spacebar to pan around. So just want to make sure that shape is in the right place. Oh, this is having real hissy fits. Okay, so now what we want to do is group that all as kind of a, yeah, 40 moved. Let's try that again, shall we? So I'm going to take all of those and we can group it. And then we can use our alt and drag to add in extra copies. So you'll notice I'm keeping that white box from the top beneath the outline of the previous group. So basically, if I was to leave it higher and try and put the shapes closer together, we're going to end up cutting out bits of our image, which we don't want to do. Okay, I'm just going to nudge that slightly to the left. Use my keys. And there we go. So you can fill the sheet with those and then go to export in the same way. But what we're going to do is, come on, and there we go, export PDF, but this time it's all visible layers, and that's really important. Okay, so that all visible layers is basically saying that it includes the shapes that you put within CanvasWorkspace as well. Those shapes could also be text. So very quickly, let's cancel that a second, and we can use one of the word designs from within CanvasWorkspace, or we can use the text tool. So let's put in a celebrate, and we can colour that white, and we can colour the outline white, or we could go, let's go to a kind of darker orangey tone. And we can increase the stroke if we want, make it pop a bit more. The only thing that we can't do with stroke in CanvasWorkspace is it actually sets it to inside or outside. It has to be on that central alignment. So maybe down just a touch. It's a bit too bold. There we go. And just scale that down. I don't mind it being a little bit over the image, but I don't want to lose too much of that pink. There we go. Like so. And ta-da! And if I go back to basic shapes, I can stick in a little hang tag if I want to. Or that you could do it bigger for a handle. And there we go. So you've got two options there of how you can work with it. And again, what you could do here with that little hang tag, another little trick would be, let's go for, I'm going to put in the same background colour for my outline. Again, increase that. Go to my fill colour, set it to white. And again, then we're allowing for our alignment to be slightly off. So I hope you've enjoyed that. It works exactly the same way from there on in as Ian showed you at the weekend. But have fun, play, and we'd love to see what you make. So don't be afraid to share what you make on our Facebook group or on Discord. So if you're not already a member of our Discord, use the link below with the code to be able to actually join our group on there. So the benefits of Discord is we can actually share files with you that we create, and you can have fun with those. So take care for now, and I'll see you soon. Bye.